Tasmania, where the earth meets the ocean. 2 centuries ago, the British Empire sent its most dangerous convicts to Tasmania, isolating them on an island surrounded by icy seas and relentless winds. Today, the echoes of chains have vanished, replaced by a wilderness that feels untouched by time. Towering cliffs, orange-hued beaches, and jagged coastlines meet ancient volcanic landscapes, while forests hide creatures both strange and fierce, including the infamous Tasmanian devil. Rivers carve through emerald valleys, and waterfalls tumble from heights that make the world below seem small. Tasmania is no longer a prison. It is a raw, untamed paradise where nature reigns supreme. But before starting the video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. Echoes of the past. Palawa and convict history. For thousands of years, the Palawa people navigated these coastal waters, thriving amid forests, rivers, and mountains. Their deep knowledge of the land dictated survival strategies, hunting paths, and sacred rituals attuned to the rhythms of the island. Every river bend, every bluff, every cove carried stories and meaning, passed down through generations. Then, in 1803, the British arrived with a starkly different vision. They saw not a home, but a prison. Tasmania's rugged cliffs, narrow isthmuses, and turbulent seas became the perfect natural barrier. Port Arthur rose as their crown jewel, a fortress of stone designed to contain not only bodies but minds. Its panopticon layout allowed a single tower to monitor everything. Prisoners never knew when they were watched. Silence was enforced, hours measured in labor and deprivation. Madness stalked some inmates, others risked impossible escapes. The narrow strip of land connecting Tasmania to the mainland, the infamous dog line, was guarded by chains of feral dogs, a living wall enforcing the final boundary. Yet the island's landscape offered more than punishment. Tasmania's geological wonders tell stories of eons. Tessellated pavement, with its near-perfect rectangles and polygons, seems crafted by invisible hands, yet is the result of shifting tides, pressure, and time. Along the Tasman Peninsula, cliffs soar. At Cape Howie, 300-meter dolerite walls descend into frothing seas. Sea stacks pierce the horizon, sculpted over millennia into sharp, monumental spires. From above, the coastline resembles a natural cathedral, columns of stone meeting white spray in dramatic symmetry. For convicts, these features were barriers and instruments of despair. Today, they are marvels, transforming fear into awe. Port Arthur's ruins echo the human story, suffering, endurance, and adaptation, while cliffs, pavements, and stacks remind us that Tasmania has always been a place where the raw power of nature meets the ingenuity, resilience, and sometimes the cruelty of humankind. Here, the impossible becomes tangible, whether in stone, sea, or human history. Wineglass Bay, paradise with a dark past. North along Tasmania's Freycinet Peninsula lies Wineglass Bay, a crescent of pure white sand embracing waters so turquoise they seem unreal. Today, the bay is a postcard-perfect sanctuary, frequented by hikers, kayakers, and photographers drawn to its serene beauty. But beneath this idyllic veneer lies a darker history. In the 1800s, whaling stations operated along these shores, hauling massive whales onto the sand. Blood soaked the sands, and the bay earned the haunting name Wineglass, a sobering reminder of human cruelty and exploitation of nature. Time, tides, and conservation efforts have rewritten the story. Dolphins now patrol the waters, their sleek bodies cutting arcs through waves once crimson with blood. Seabirds nest on rocky outcrops, while native flora reclaims abandoned whaling huts. Kayakers glide silently over crystal-clear waters, tracing the same shoreline where tragedy unfolded centuries ago. The juxtaposition of past and present gives Wineglass Bay a unique resonance, a place of both memory and rebirth. Here, Tasmania's natural resilience is on full display. showing that even where humans have wreaked devastation, nature can recover and flourish in ways that inspire awe and humility. Maria Island, convicts and nature reclaimed. Off Tasmania's east coast lies Maria Island, a realm where human history and wilderness intertwine. Convict settlements once thrived here, their stone walls and peeling paint standing as silent witnesses to forced labor, survival, and forgotten lives. Ruins crumble into the soil, ivy and moss weaving over doorways and windows, transforming prisons and barracks into ephemeral monuments to endurance and decay. Walking its paths, one senses both the ghosts of the past and the unstoppable force of time. Yet, the island belongs to nature. Painted cliffs blaze in orange, yellow, and red, shifting hue with the sun, while wombats, squat and methodical, roam freely, digging burrows that stretch up to 30 meters underground, longer than a tennis court. Forests shelter wallabies, native birds, and a host of other wildlife that have retaken the island, transforming human spaces into ecosystems. And somewhere in the dense forests, the elusive Tasmanian tiger, declared extinct in 1936, lingers in rumor, its faint images haunting grainy photographs. Maria Island is a living testament to resilience, a place where the scars of human ambition yield to the patient, relentless reclaiming of the wild. Coastal and highland diversity. As the coast softens northward, gentle settlements replace forbidding fortresses. Molting lagoons stretches like a mirror, a sanctuary for countless waterbirds where fresh and salt water meet. At dusk, little penguins, only 40 cm tall, waddle ashore to burrow in the dunes, continuing a ritual that has persisted for thousands of years. Beyond the coastline, Tasmania's highlands reveal its primal reality. Landscapes carved by glaciers and time harbor ancient creatures in terrain that seems lifted from another planet. Cradle Mountain rises from Dove Lake like a stone cathedral, jagged peaks reflecting in the still waters below. Lake St. Clair, Australia's deepest freshwater lake at 200 meters, holds icy currents where the platypus hunts blind, navigating by electric signals, a creature so strange early scientists thought it a hoax. Peaks and wilderness. Mount Ossa and temperate rainforests. Mount Ossa, Tasmania's highest peak at 1,617 meters, rises like a sentinel over the island's central highlands. Snow caps its summit for much of the year, and from its vantage point, the island unfolds in a tapestry of valleys, rivers, and endless forests, a living reminder of Tasmania's untamed heart. The wind sweeps across alpine ridges, carrying the scent of moss, eucalyptus, and the faint salt of distant coasts. Each peak, ridge, and shadowed valley tells a story of isolation, survival, and the slow, relentless shaping power of time. Nearby, Leven Canyon plunges 275 meters into a dramatic gorge carved over millennia by glacial melt and persistent river flow. Ancient trees cling precariously to stone walls, their roots finding purchase where stability seems impossible. Echidnas forage in the leaf litter below, while the occasional platypus slips silently through hidden waterways, a living symbol of Tasmania's delicate biodiversity. Temperate rainforests thrive in hidden corners, where Philosopher Falls and Pelverata Falls tumble through green cathedrals of moss, ferns, and towering eucalypts. Tree ferns, their fronds unfurling like prehistoric umbrellas, create a canopy that filters sunlight into shifting patterns of gold and emerald. Some trees are over 3,000 years old, standing as silent witnesses to both human history and the primal wild that predates it. The air is thick with life, heavy with moisture, and filled with the calls of lyrebirds echoing across valleys. Here, the ancient and the living converge. Tasmania's peaks, canyons, and rainforests are not just landscapes, they are laboratories of resilience, showing how ecosystems endure against time, climate, and the touch of humanity. Climbing Mount Ossa, or walking the canyon trails, is not merely a physical journey. It is a communion with an island where wilderness reigns supreme, timeless, and unforgivingly beautiful. Volcanic legacy and the Bay of Fires. Tasmania's volcanic history is written not in ink, but in stone, and nowhere is it more apparent than along the Bay of Fires. Here, massive granite boulders scatter along pristine white sands, their shapes smoothed by millennia of wind, rain, and ocean spray. Rust, orange, and golden lichens cloak the rocks in vibrant color, giving the coastline an otherworldly glow, especially at sunrise and sunset when the light seems to set the stones aflame. The effect is almost hypnotic, as if the land itself is breathing fire. These shores were known and revered by Aboriginal peoples for thousands of years. The boulders, the sand, and the surrounding waters were not just resources. They were sacred, places of gathering, storytelling, and survival. With the arrival of European settlers, the coastline earned the name Bay of Fires, inspired by the glow of campfires along the beach. Yet the true flames are far older, held in the minerals themselves, and nurtured by the slow alchemy of time, weather, and geology. The Bay of Fires is also alive with life. Waves lap against the rocks, bringing seaweed, shells, and small fish into shallow pools. Seabirds wheel overhead, while native plants cling to cracks and crevices, their tenacity a counterpoint to the rugged permanence of the granite. Walking among these boulders, one feels the weight of deep time, the intersection of volcanic power, human history, and ecological resilience. In Tasmania, the Bay of Fires reminds visitors that beauty is born of both destruction and endurance, and that even stone can tell stories of fire, life, and transformation. Human endeavor meets wildness. Even in Tasmania's towns, nature maintains its authority. In Launceston, the South Esk River threads through the city like a living scar on the landscape, cutting a path that ignores street plans and urban symmetry. Along its banks, historic stone bridges and riverside parks frame the water's ever-changing moods, sometimes calm and reflective, other times swollen and furious after a storm. The river reminds visitors that while humans can shape the land, they remain secondary to the ancient rhythms of geology and climate. To the northwest, the Nut in Stanley rises abruptly from the coastline, a volcanic plug forged millions of years ago. Its basalt cliffs bear the marks of fire and erosion, a natural fortress overlooking the Bass Strait. Visitors climb winding trails, feeling the pull of gravity and the weight of history beneath their feet, or ascend via chairlift to see farmland, ocean, and forests stitched together in an intricate tapestry of green and blue. From this height, the delicate coexistence of human settlement and wild terrain becomes apparent. Further inland, towns like Sheffield appear almost like illustrations from a storybook. Rolling hills of green velvet are dotted with grazing cattle and tidy farmhouses, while novelty villages such as Grindelwald offer a whimsical touch of European design in the midst of untamed wilderness. Yet kangaroos roam freely through paddocks, engaging in playful sparring matches under the sun. A vivid reminder that even in settled areas, the wild retains its presence. Tasmania, here, is a place where human creativity and resilience meet raw, uncompromising nature, and neither yields entirely to the other. Hobart, from penal colony to cultural heart. Hobart began as Britain's remote outpost, a place of exile and endurance, and has since grown into one of the world's most intriguing cultural capitals. The city's character is written in stone and timber. Weatherboard cottages climb sandstone cliffs, peeling yet vibrant against the often grey sky, while prisoner-built warehouses along the waterfront now house world-class restaurants, galleries, and cafes. Salamanca Place pulses with life on weekends. Artisan markets spilling over Georgian arches with handmade crafts, smoked meats, and the scent of freshly baked bread, bridging history with contemporary creativity. The Derwent River, once thick with migrating whales, now hosts yachts gliding lazily, ferries carrying commuters, and the occasional elephant seal, nicknamed Neil, lounging on a jetty, as if guarding the city's edges. Here, urban life and wildness meet in a delicate dance. Gulls wheel overhead, currawongs scavenge among stalls, and the river's tide carries whispers of an older, wilder Tasmania beneath the city's rhythm. Dominating the scene is Kunanyi, Mount Wellington, whose 1,271-meter summit shapes weather, vistas, and character. A single morning can bring sun, fog, snow, and driving wind, as though the mountain tests those who venture close. From its peak, Hobart appears as a patchwork of harbour, hills, and forests, while coastal cliffs, rivers, and distant valleys reveal a complexity both intimate and vast. Here, the city feels alive yet small, wild yet cultured, a place where the remnants of exile coexist with art, nature, and human ingenuity. Art, innovation, and modern legacy. The Museum of Old and New Art, or MONA, redefines what a museum can be. Buried into a sandstone cliff along the Berrydale waterfront, its subterranean galleries guide visitors through winding corridors of light and shadow. Ancient Egyptian amulets sit beside provocative contemporary installations, and interactive exhibits challenge perceptions of morality, mortality, and meaning. Visitors descend into the earth not just to view art, but to confront ideas, to feel, to question. MONA has transformed Tasmania from a remote, post-convict outpost into a global cultural beacon, attracting travelers, artists, and thinkers from across the world. It is audacious, raw, and unapologetically Tasmanian, a place where creativity meets the edge of the wild. History also whispers from the island's built environment. Richmond Bridge, completed by convicts in the 1820s, is Australia's oldest surviving stone bridge. Its elegantly curved arches span the Coal River, linking past to present in weathered sandstone. Every groove in its stones tells stories of human endurance, of men forced into labour, who nevertheless left a structure of enduring beauty and utility. Rainforests and dams. Tasmania's temperate rainforests in the southwest are among the last living relics of prehistoric worlds, where every tree and fern seems to whisper stories older than human memory. Trails through the Taran rainforest wind, beneath towering myrtles and celery-top pines, their trunks cloaked in thick moss that drips with dew. Sunlight filters in fractured beams through dense canopies, illuminating carpets of liverworts, ferns, and fungi, while cryptic frogmouths perch silently among branches, their mottled feathers blending perfectly with bark. Russell Falls and Liffey Falls tumble over moss-covered stone, sending spray into the air and filling the forest with the steady rhythm of cascading water. Each fall is both a visual spectacle and a living heartbeat of the ecosystem, nourishing the life that thrives in shadowed gullies. Yet Tasmania's landscapes are not untouched by human ambition. The Gordon Dam rises 140 meters above the wild Gordon River, a monolith of concrete that channels hydroelectric power while shaping the surrounding environment. From above, the reservoir mirrors the sky, bordered by forested ridges that hint at the island's rugged topography. Despite its scale, the dam demonstrates that engineering and nature can coexist. Careful planning, environmental monitoring, and respect for delicate habitats allow the rainforest and its rivers to persist alongside human use. Tasmania's story is one of balance. Here, wild forests and dramatic waterfalls coexist with monumental infrastructure, reminding visitors that survival, beauty, and innovation need not be mutually exclusive. Walking beneath ancient canopies, listening to water rush past engineered barriers, one senses the tension and harmony between nature and human enterprise, a delicate equilibrium maintained over centuries. Southern Coast and Brun Island. Tasmania's southern coast stretches toward Antarctica, a frontier where the ocean asserts its dominion and the land clings to survival. Brun Island, connected to the mainland by a narrow sand ribbon, is a fragile world suspended between two waters. Its cliffs rise like cathedral walls, sheer and unyielding, shaped over millions of years by relentless wind, waves, and time. Sea stacks stand sentinel offshore, their jagged forms etched by centuries of storm and tide, each a monument to nature's slow, patient artistry. The southernmost lighthouse at Cape Brun, built in 1838, continues to guide mariners across 5,000 kilometers of open, unpredictable ocean, a human imprint amid the vastness of the southern seas. The waters around Brun Island teem with life. Orcas hunt along the coastline, their dorsal fins slicing through waves, while albatrosses glide endlessly on wind currents, tracing invisible lines across the sky. When night falls, the aurora australis paints the horizon with rippling curtains of green, purple, and crimson, a celestial reminder that this edge of the world remains untamed and awe-inspiring. Beyond spectacle, Tasmania plays a vital ecological role. Its forests, wetlands, and wild coasts absorb more carbon than the island produces, earning a rare negative carbon footprint. This achievement reflects careful stewardship, conservation, and the resilience of ecosystems that have survived human colonization, logging, and climate shifts. Brun Island and Tasmania's southern coast are living symbols of balance, a place where wildness is honored, nature thrives against all odds, and humanity, when respectful, can coexist with forces far greater than itself. As our journey through Tasmania comes to an end, one thing becomes clear. These landscapes are more than scenic vistas or tourist destinations. They are reminders of endurance, adaptation, and the fragile balance between humans and nature. From Cradle Mountain's jagged peaks to Wombat's ruling former prison grounds, each corner tells a story of resilience, beauty, and life, choosing to thrive. If you enjoyed exploring Tasmania with us, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more journeys into hidden cultures, untamed landscapes, and untold stories from around the world. Share this video with someone who loves travel, history, or discovering places beyond the ordinary. Let us know in the comments which part of Tasmania inspired you most, or which hidden destination you would love to see next. Until our next journey, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep searching for the beauty that lives off the beaten path.